Dear students, today we are going to discuss about the adult learner and their characteristics and their outcomes. Adult learners have distinct characteristics and face unique challenges compared to younger learners. Understanding these characteristics and problems is essential for creating effective adult education programs. Before undertaking any adult learning program, it is important to acknowledge the characteristics of adult learners. Adult learners who are not in the mainstream of formal education have different characteristics. A few characteristics of adult learners are worth mentioning. Adult learners are voluntary learners. Their age group and level of knowledge, attitude, and abilities vary from one another. Adult learners have varied interests, prejudices, values, habits, and different levels of emotional maturity. Adult learners require more time to practice new skills. They have various responsibilities and so usually have less time to learn. They prefer to learn by participation. Adult learners have their own self esteem and ego. Adults evaluate learning in terms of results and its utility to their life situations. Adults have their own strategies and pattern of learning. Adults prefer the learning to be simple, understandable, and applicable. According to Malcolm Knowles, has identified following characteristics of adult learners. Adults are autonomous and self-directed. Therefore, the adult trainers must actively involve adult participations in the learning process and serve as facilitator for them. Adults have accumulated a foundation of life experiences and knowledge that must be recognized. Adults are goal oriented. Therefore, they appreciate an educational program that is organized and has clearly defined elements. Adults are relevancy oriented. They see a reason for learning something. Therefore, learning has to be applicable to their work and other responsibilities. Adults are practical and focus on the aspects of a lesson which is most useful to them and their work. Adults must be shown respect. The adult trainers must acknowledge the wealth of experiences that adult participants bring to the classroom. Self direction. It can be further divided into two categories. First one is autonomy. Adults prefer to take responsibility for their own learning, including setting goals, finding resources, and evaluating their progress. And second one is independence. They value having control over the learning process and making decisions about their education. Second point is called experience. It can be further divided into 2 points. First one is rich background. and second one is application of knowledge. Rich background, that is, adults brings a wealth of personal, professional, and life experiences to the learning environment, which can be used as a resource for new learning. And then application of knowledge, they often relate new information to their existing knowledge and experiences, facilitating deeper understanding. And third one is readiness to learn. Further, it can be divided into two categories, problem oriented and relevance. Problem oriented, adults are usually motivated to learn when they see a clear application to real life challenges or goals. Relevance, they prefer learning that is immediately relevant and applicable to their current life situation, whether personal or professional. Further, motivation. Motivation can be divided into two categories, intrinsic motivation and goal oriented. Intrinsic motivation, adults are often driven by internal factors such as personal growth, self esteem, and the desire to improve their quality of life. And second one is goal oriented. They have specific goals they want to achieve, such as career advancement, skill acquisition, or personal development. Life responsibilities. It can be divided into further two categories, multiple roles and time management. Multiple roles. Adult learners often balance multiple roles such as work, family, and community responsibilities, which can affect their availability and commitment to learning. Time management. They need flexible learning schedules that can accommodate their other commitments. After studying the characteristics of adult learning, now it is important to know the conditions in which adult learning has to take place. Some of the important conditions required for adult learning as follows. Adults must be adequately motivated to change their behavioral and practices. Adults must be clearly taught and be aware about the deficiencies of their present behavior and practices. Adults must be presented a clear pictures of the behavior and practices that they have to adopt. Enabling environment must be created for adults to practice the appropriate behavior and practice. Adults must be getting reinforcement of the correct behavior. Adults must be given adequate IEC, that is, information, education, and communication material, and be exposed to BCC, that is, behavioral change communication activities. Adults learn best in adult age. Adults are fastidious about change because of experience and age. Learning should emerge out of their experiences, be related to, and built on the experiences of the adults. Practical experiences and result demonstration are extremely important for adult learners. Adult learners do not get much learning from didactic lectures, rather they get more from the use of audiovisual and discussions. Adults want to share more experiences and listen less, and therefore they like to learn in leisurely way. Adults do not want to shoulder the burden of learning. According to Stephen Leib, 1991, there are four critical elements of learning that must be addressed to ensure that adult participants learn. First one is motivation. Second one is reinforcement. Third one is retention. And fourth one is transference. Motivation. The trainer must motivate the adult learners for learning. The adult trainers must establish a friendly and open atmosphere with the adult learners. An appropriate level of difficulty would better help the adult learners to understand the topic. The instructor must reward the learners. Reinforcement. Reinforcement has an important role in adult learning. Positive reinforcement encourages the adult learning to take part in active learning, whereas negative reinforcement discourages the adult learner to take part in active learning. Negative reinforcement encourages the adult learner to take part in passive learning. Retention. The instructor must see that the adults must retain information from the classroom in order to benefit from the learning. Retention could be helpful in the application of learning to real life situation. Transference. The transfer of learning is the ultimate goal of the teaching learning. Positive transference, like positive reinforcement, occurs when the participants uses the behavior taught in the classroom. Principles of adult learning. After discussing the characteristics of adult learners and the conditions in which adult learning takes place, now it is useful to know about various principles of adult learning. Any trainer or educator who has to impart teaching and training to adults must be well versed about the principles of adult learning. Only by applying these principles can he or she create interest among the adult learners. When these principles are well understood, they would help them to carry their work with effectiveness and satisfaction. Some of these principles are given below. Andragogy and adult learning guiding principles. Adult education is based on the philosophy called andragogy, that is the art and science of helping adult learn. The guiding principles of adult learning aim at bringing changes in what people know, changes in what people can do, changes in what people think and feel, and changes in what people actually do. In other words, it must emphasize change knowledge attitude, and the skills of the learner. तो हम ये देखते हैं कि जब गाइडिंग प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ एडल्ट लर्निंग की बात करते हैं तो सबसे पहले हमें ये देखना होगा कि पीपल क्या जानते हैं और उसमें क्या परिवर्तन की आवश्यकता है। पीपल क्या कर सकते हैं और उसमें क्या परिवर्तन की आवश्यकता है। क्या आप सोचते हैं और अनुभव करते हैं उसमें परिवर्तन क्या हो सकता है एंड एक्चुअली व्हाट पीपल एक्चुअली डू, और जो पीपल है एक्चुअल में क्या चेंज कर सकते हैं। इन सब बात को जब हम ध्यान देते हैं तो ये हमें गाइड करते हैं कि एडल्ट लर्नर्स को कैसे लर्न कराया जाना चाहिए। तो इन सब बातों को ध्यान में रखने के लिए हमें इन 5 पॉइंट्स को ध्यान में रखना चाहिए। हम दूसरे शब्दों में इसे कह सकते हैं कि यह हमारे नॉलेज, एटीट्यूड और जो लर्नर्स के स्किल्स है उस पर प्रभाव डालता है। The training of adults should be based on their immediate needs. As the adult learners have varied experience knowledge, any repetition would not create interest among them. In other words, the teaching and training program needs to be focused on filling the gaps between what they know and what they ought to know. कि वो क्या जानते हैं और उसमें क्या जानने की इच्छा है, क्या जानना चाहते हैं। It must be self-directed and the principal should be helping the people to help themselves. The trainer's role most of the time is to be a facilitator and the trainee to be the real actor. ट्रेनर को फैसिलिटेटर के रूप में काम करना चाहिए और जो ट्रेनी है, जो लर्नर है, जो शिक्षार्थी है, जो विद्यार्थी है, उसे रियल एक्टर, वास्तविक लर्नर के रूप में देखा जाना चाहिए। वो वही एक्टिव रोल में होना चाहिए। टीचर्स ओनली गाइड करेंगे, फैसिलिटेट करेंगे। जहां पर स्टूडेंट्स को कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स आते हैं तो उसके लिए वहां पे टीचर्स केवल गाइड करना है, फैसिलिटेट करना है, उससे एक पाथ प्रोवाइड करने का काम करना है। इट शुड बी पार्टिसिपेटरी एंड नॉट बी अ वन साइडेड अफेयर where trainers are being treated as orators and training as listeners. It should be practical and field based and fewer classroom based and didactic lecture based. The main purpose is to be learning by doing. That means कि करके सीखना। एडल्ट लर्नर को लर्निंग करने के लिए हमें वैसी सिचुएशन प्रोवाइड करनी चाहिए कि विद्यार्थी, शिक्षार्थी, लर्नर खुद से कर काम करके सीखे। It must provide feedback. The trainer has to provide feedback to the trainees. If any clarification is required by them after the training, if answered questions are not known, the reply, I do not know, but I shall find out, gains the respect of parents. The question and answer method is the most useful for establishing effective interactions between the teachers and the taught. It should be democratic in nature. The trainer must assist all categories of trainees, irrespective of following differences such as higher and lower education, upper and lower caste, slow and fast learners, higher and lower income class, and Hindu, Muslim, Christian, etc. A trainer who helps all gains the respect of all trainees. That means कि एक ट्रेनर को जो लर्नर्स है, जो ट्रेनीज है, उसकी रिस्पेक्ट करनी चाहिए और चाहे वह ट्रेनीज किसी भी कास्ट, किसी भी कम्युनिटीज, कोई भी कलर, किसी भी तरीके से कोई भेदभाव नहीं किया जाना चाहिए और हर एक लर्नर्स के, हर एक ट्रेनिंग्स के बोलने की, अपनी बात को रखने की स्वतंत्रता दी जानी चाहिए। उन्हें अपने विचारों को अभिव्यक्त करने की आजादी दी जानी चाहिए और उसके द्वारा रखे गए विचारों को, अभिव्यक्ति को स्वीकार किया जाना चाहिए। The trainee must be willing to learn from the trainees. और ट्रेनर को ट्रेनी से सीखना चाहिए। He or she should respect the sentiment of the adult learners. He or she must have enough patience to listen, respect the ideas, and humbly modify attitude towards change where required. Moreover, he or she must appreciate the ideas of the slow learners for whatever they are worth. उनके द्वारा जो ट्रेनिंग्स है, जो लर्नर्स है, उसके द्वारा जो भी विचार दिए जाते हैं, उस विचार को सुनना चाहिए, ट्रेनर्स को सुनना चाहिए और उसको स्थान दिया जाना चाहिए, उनके विचारों को तवज्जो दिया जाना चाहिए। It must create comfortable environment and control the class with love rather than with fear. It is in the environment of love where the human qualities grow. An environment of fear, anger, and hatred is detrimental to human growth. जो लर्निंग इन्वायरमेंट है वो हार्मोनियस होना चाहिए, कंफर्टेबल होना चाहिए। एवरी लर्नर्स, ट्रेनिंग, एडल्ट लर्नर्स, यदि कंफर्ट होगा तो वो अपनी सुविधा के अनुसार लर्न कर सकेगा। ऐसा माहौल नहीं क्रिएट किया जाना चाहिए कि डर का माहौल हो जिससे बच्चे डरे। कोई भी प्रश्न या किसी भी प्रकार की आशंका होने पर वे ट्रेनर से या टीचर से प्रश्न पूछने में हिचकिचाहट महसूस करे, ऐसी किसी भी प्रकार की परिस्थिति उत्पन्न नहीं किया जाना चाहिए। It should take place in an atmosphere of rapport making with harmony. There should be an active but frank and fearless interactions between the teacher on one side and the learners on the other. And it is the teacher who is responsible for creating this type of environment. That means कि जो environment क्रिएट किया जाना चाहिए वो फियरलेस इन्वायरमेंट क्रिएट किया जाना चाहिए। किसी भी प्रकार का भय, रोक, किसी भी प्रकार की ऐसी सिचुएशंस उत्पन्न नहीं की जानी चाहिए। जो ट्रेनर है, जो ट्रेनी है, वो अपने प्रश्न बेहिचक पूछ सके, बिना किसी संदेह के वह ट्रेनर से, ट्रेनी से, ट्रेनर से, टीचर से अपने प्रश्न को पूछ सके, अपने आशंका को दूर कर सके। Adults must be taught in a learning environment that focuses on the adult's personal goals, build on previous life experiences, and promotes positive self-esteem and self-worth. The adult trainer must create a climate that encourages and supports learning. According to Johan Goodlad, has given 6 principles of adult learning. According to him, adults prefer learning situations which are practical and problem-centered, promote their positive self-esteem, integrate new ideas with the existing knowledge, show respect for the individual learner, capitalize on their experiences, allow choice and self-directions. That means कि जो जॉन और बुलार्ड ने जो 6 प्रिंसिपल्स दिया है उन्होंने ये कहा है कि जो लर्निंग सिचुएशंस है वह प्रैक्टिकल होना चाहिए और प्रॉब्लम ओरिएंटेड होना चाहिए, पॉजिटिव सेल्फ एस्टीम को प्रमोट किया जाना चाहिए, जो एग्जिस्टिंग नॉलेज है उसी में न्यू आइडियाज या न्यू इनोवेशंस या न्यू नॉलेज को क्रिएट किया जाना चाहिए, जो व्यक्तिगत शिक्षार्थी है ट्रेनिंग है उसको रिस्पेक्ट किया जाना चाहिए, उनके जो एक्सपीरियंसेस है उनको प्रमोट किया जाना चाहिए और अलाउ चॉइस एंड सेल्फ डायरेक्शन और उसे सेल्फ डायरेक्शन के हिसाब से लर्न करने देना चाहिए. The characteristics and responsibilities of adult trainers, like the adult learners, the adult trainers also need to adhere to certain principles in order to effectively impart education to the adults. The role of the adult trainer is quite different from the teachers teaching in formal educational institutions. According to Bhandari 1961, has mentioned that a good adult teacher or trainer is one who has a thorough knowledge of subject matter, who has patience and goes out of his way to help the people, who has no favoritism and is fair and considerate, who admits his mistakes, does not get angry when asked to explain the point, and can explain difficult subjects in a simple manner, does not control the class by fear, but has a pleasant and sweet manner of presentation, who has a sense of humor, cheerful, and encourages learners, who is adaptable, sincere, takes interest in learners, and friendly. According to M.A. Gode, 1987, mentions the following responsibilities for adult trainers: to make learners educated, initiate a process of awareness amongst them, introduce development activities in the community, and help the learners to acquire certain functional skills for tackling their problems. To convince and motivate illiterate adults to come to the center. To enlist the learners and enter their names in the register. To select accommodation at the center. To decide the times of the centers in consultation with the learner. To see that all material and equipment like books, charts, blackboards, chalks, mats, etc. are procured and kept ready at the center quite in advance. To plan and organize different types of activities at the center with the help of the supervisor and the teacher in charge, as well as with people from the community. To arrange the teaching or learning material which the trainer is going to use the center. To maintain the attendance register of the learner at the center. To maintain the diary and the visitor's book. To attend meetings organized by the supervisors. To fill up monthly report regularly. To help in conducting evaluation of the program. तो इस प्रकार से एक ट्रेनर को अपने सेंटर पे रजिस्टर मेंटेन करना चाहिए, विजिटर बुक्स मेंटेन करना चाहिए, डेली रिपोर्ट बनाना चाहिए, मंथली रिपोर्ट बनाना चाहिए और इवैल्यूएशन प्रोग्राम कंडक्ट करना चाहिए. The principles to be applied by adult learners for teaching adults can be summed up in the following ways. Go in search of your people, love them, learn from them, plan with them, serve them, begin with what they know, carry on from what they know, and build up what they have. According to Legans 1961, they needed a few guidelines for adult trainers. Respect for individuals who are to be helped. Sympathy for people's problems as they see them. Willingness to work at the people's pace without existing pressure for the acceptance of decisions made arbitrarily. Ability in relating new knowledge and ideas to people's interests and needs. Actively engage people in the learning process. Provide opportunities for the practical application of what has been learned. According to Hall, 1950, list the following 15 responsibilities of an adult trainer. First one is initiator, second one is orienter, third one is facilitator, fourth one is encourager, fifth one is harmonizer, sixth fact seeker, seventh fact giver, eighth compromiser, ninth expeditor, 10th spokesman, 11th role model, 12th recorder, 13th evaluator and 14th analyzer. तो इस तरीके से हॉल ने जो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज है एडल्ट ट्रेनर के उसको पॉइंट आउट किया है. तो एज एडल्ट ट्रेनर हमारे अंदर ये जो पॉइंट्स है, जो क्वालिटीज है, वो इनकलकेट किया जाना चाहिए यदि हमें एडल्ट ट्रेनर बनना है. तो हमें एडल्ट ट्रेनर बनने के लिए ये जो दिए गए पॉइंट्स है उसे अपने अंदर इनकलकेट करना होगा. Malcolm Lewis is considered the founding father of the theory of adult learning and the andragogy of adult learning. He contrasted the concept of andragogy, meaning the art and science of helping adult learn, with pedagogy, or the art and science of helping children learn. Novels label andragogy as an emerging educational technology which facilitates the development and implementation of learning activities for adults and based it on 6 andragogical assumptions that are different forms those of the pedagogical model. First one is the need to know. Adults need to know why they need to learn something before undertaking to learn it. The learner's self-concepts. Adults have a self-concept of being responsible for their own decisions, for their own lives. As a person matures, his or her self-concepts move from one of being a dependent personality toward one of being a self-directed human being. The role of learner's experiences. As a person matures, he or she accumulates a growing reservoir of experience. that becomes an increasing resource for learning. Adults come into an additional activity with both a greater value and a different quality of experience compared with youth. A readiness to learn. As a person matures, his readiness to learn becomes oriented increasingly to the developmental tasks of his social roles. Adults become ready to learn those things that they need to know and be able to do in order to compete effectively with their real life situations. Orientation to learning. As a person mature, his time perspective changes from one of postponed application of knowledge to immediacy of application. And accordingly, his orientation toward learning shift from one of subject-centered orientation, at least in school, to life-centered or task-centered or problem-centered orientation. Motivation to learn. While adults are responsible to some external motivators, better jobs, higher income, or salaries, and the like. The most potent motivators are internal pressures, desire for increased job satisfaction, self-esteem, quality of life, among other problems faced by adult learners. Time constraints. It can be further divided into two categories. First one is busy schedules, and second one is scheduling conflicts. Busy schedules, that means it balancing education with work, family, and other responsibilities can be challenging, leading to time management issue. क्योंकि जो एडल्ट लर्नर्स है उनके पास अपने घर परिवार के साथ साथ और भी बहुत सारे रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज होते हैं. इसकी वजह से उनके पास टाइम मैनेजमेंट का इशू होता है. Then scheduling conflicts. It rigid class schedules may not fit into their busy lives, necessitating more flexible learning options. क्योंकि उनका जो बिजी शेड्यूल होता है इसकी वजह से जो फॉर्मल एजुकेशन सिस्टम्स है उसमें जो क्लासेस की जो टाइमिंग है वो अपने एक रिजिड शेड्यूल के अकॉर्डिंग होता है जो कि उनके बिजी लाइफ के अकॉर्डिंग फिट नहीं बैठता. तो यदि एडल्ट लर्नर्स के साथ जो प्रॉब्लम्स है इसके साथ कोप अप करना पड़ेगा तभी एडल्ट लर्नर्स इन प्रॉब्लम्स से निकल पाएंगे और वो सीख पाएंगे. Second point, financial constraints. It can be further divided into two categories. First one is cost of education and second one is financial priorities. Cost of education means many adult learners may struggle with the cost of continuing education, including tuition, books, and other related expenses. क्योंकि जो एडल्ट होते हैं उनके पास बहुत सारे रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज होते हैं और घर की जिम्मेदारियां होती है. इसके साथ साथ जब वो हायर एजुकेशन में जाते हैं तो उन्हें जो बुक्स परचेज करते हैं अदर जो रेफरेंसेस बुक्स परचेज करते हैं उनका बहुत ज्यादा कॉस्ट होता है. कॉस्टली बुक्स आते हैं. ट्यूशन की जो फी होते हैं वो कॉस्टली होते हैं. इवन जब एडमिशन लेते हैं किसी प्रोग्राम में उनके फी बहुत ज्यादा होते हैं. तो ये सब वो बियर नहीं कर पाते जो कि उनके लिए बहुत
बड़े चैलेंजेस के रूप में आते हैं। ये प्रॉब्लम्स वो फेस करते हैं। Financial priorities, competing financial priorities such as supporting a family or paying off debts can limit their ability to invest in education. यह एक इंडियन सिनारियो में हम देखें तो जो भारतीय फैमिली है, आप देखोगे कि बहुत ऐसी फैमिली होती है जिनके ऊपर डेब्ट होता है, कर्ज में डूबे होते हैं। ऐसे सिचुएशन में उनके पास अब वो या तो एजुकेशन पे एक्सपेंस करे या फिर जो उन्होंने डेब्ट लिया है, कर्ज लिया है, वो उस कर्ज को चुकाए। तो इस तरीके की भी प्रॉब्लम से फेस कर रहे होते हैं। तो जो फैमिलीज है, जो मिडिल क्लास फैमिली या लोअर क्लास फैमिलीज है, वो इसमें फेस कर रहे होते हैं, फाइनेंशियल प्रॉब्लम से जूझ रहे होते हैं कि हम अपने बच्चे को पढ़ाएं, यानी कि एडल्ट लर्नर्स पढ़ेंगे या फिर वो अपने कर्ज को चुकाएं। टेक्नोलॉजिकल बैरियर्स further can be divided into two categories: digital literacy and access to technology. First one is digital literacy. Some adults may lack the necessary skills to effectively use modern education technology such as online learning platforms and digital tools. जो एडल्ट लर्नर्स को हम देखते हैं आजकल वर्तमान समय में भी बहुत सारे ऐसे स्कूल होते हैं जहाँ पे ट्रेडिशनल टीचिंग मेथड का यूज किया जाता है। वहाँ पे किसी भी टेक्नोलॉजी का यूज नहीं किया जाता है। एज फॉर प्रोजेक्टर चलाना, स्मार्ट क्लासरूम नहीं होते, क्योंकि भारत में बहुत सारे ऐसे स्कूल हैं जो ट्रेडिशनल टीचिंग मेथड, चॉक एंड टॉक मेथड ही वहाँ पे यूज होते हैं, जिसकी वजह से वो जो लर्नर है, ट्रेनी है, वो डिजिटल लिटरेसी में पीछे रहते हैं। वो अपने मेल नहीं चला पाते, जिसकी वजह से वो क्या करते हैं, जो ऑनलाइन लर्निंग प्लेटफॉर्म्स है या डिजिटल टूल्स है, उसमें वो बहुत पीछे होते हैं। एक्सेस टू टेक्नोलॉजी, लिमिटेड एक्सेस टू कंप्यूटर्स, रिलायबल इंटरनेट और अदर नेसेसरी टेक्नोलॉजिकल रिसोर्सेज कैन हिंडर देयर लर्निंग एक्सपीरियंसेस। Academic challenges further can be divided into two categories: rusty study skills, learning styles. Rusty study skills. Adults who have been out of the education systems for a long time may struggle with study skills, test taking, and other academic tasks. Learning styles. They may have specific learning preferences and styles that are not always accommodated by traditional teaching methods. Psychological barriers can be divided into two categories: fear of failure and second one is self-doubt. Fear of failure. Adults may fear failure or feel intimidated by returning to an academic environment, especially if they had negative educational experiences in the past. यदि कोई लर्नर्स है जिससे प्रीवियस एक्सपीरियंसेस इस प्रकार का है कि क्लासरूम में फियर है, टीचर से डर लगता है, तो वो जब क्लासरूम में आते हैं जहाँ पे फ्रेंडली इन्वायरमेंट भी होगा, वहां पे भी उनके अंदर डर बैठा होता है, फियर ऑफ फेलियर। कोई प्रश्न या कोई डाउट, कोई संदेह उनके मन में आने पर भी वो ट्रेनर से प्रश्न पूछने से हिचकिचाते हैं। सेल्फ डाउट, कंसर्न अबाउट देयर एबिलिटी टू लर्न न्यू इंफॉर्मेशन और कीप अप with younger classmates can affect their confidence and motivation. And next, sixth one is health issue. Further can be divided into two categories: physical health and mental health. Physical health concern age-related health issues or disabilities can affect their ability to participate in certain learning activities. mental health, concern about the stress, anxiety, and other mental health issues can impact their ability to focus and retain information. टू एड्रेसिंग देयर प्रॉब्लम्स, जो ये डिफरेंट डिफरेंट प्रॉब्लम्स है जो लर्नर्स में डिफरेंट डिफरेंट तरीके के ये जो प्रॉब्लम्स फेस करते हैं, इस प्रॉब्लम्स को दूर करने के लिए हमें निम्न बातों पर ध्यान देना होगा. एड्रेसिंग द प्रॉब्लम्स टू इफेक्टिवली सपोर्ट एडल्ट लर्नर्स, educational programs should be offer flexible scheduling. It concerns provide evening, weekend, and online classes to accommodate busy schedules. Provide financial assistance. It offers scholarships, grants, affordable payments plans, enhance technological support, offer training sessions on digital literacy, and ensure access to necessary technological resources. Develop tailored curriculum, design curricula that are relevant and practical, addressing the specific needs and goals of adult learners. Foster a supportive environment. Create an inclusive and supportive learning environment that acknowledges and values the experience and contribution of adult learners. Provide counseling and mentoring. Offer academic advising, career counseling, and mentoring to help adult learners navigate their educational journey. तो इस प्रकार से जो एडल्ट लर्नर्स डिफरेंट डिफरेंट प्रॉब्लम्स को फेस करते हैं, उसके लिए हमें फ्लेक्सिबल शेड्यूल को अपनाना चाहिए. जैसे उसे या तो उसके बिजी शेड्यूल के अकॉर्डिंग यदि इवनिंग में वो फ्री है तो इवनिंग में उसे क्लासेस प्रोवाइड की जानी चाहिए, या वीक ऑफ में उसे क्लासेस प्रोवाइड की जानी चाहिए, या फिर यदि उसका घर जो इंस्टीट्यूशन है उससे दूर है तो उससे ऑनलाइन क्लासेस प्रोवाइड की जानी चाहिए, ताकि वो अपने बिजी शेड्यूल के साथ साथ इन क्लासेस को अकोमोडेट कर सके, सीख सके. साथ ही साथ यदि किसी को फाइनेंशियल प्रॉब्लम्स है तो उसे छात्रवृत्ति दी जानी चाहिए, कुछ ग्रांट्स दिए जाने चाहिए, एजुकेशनल लोन प्रोवाइड किए जाने चाहिए. टेक्नोलॉजिकल प्रॉब्लम्स है यदि तो उसे डिजिटल लिटरेसी के लिए मतलब ट्रेनिंग सेशन प्रोवाइड की जानी चाहिए, उसे अलग से हैंड्स ऑन एक्सपीरियंसेस करवाए जाने चाहिए, ताकि वो डिजिटल लिटरेसी में आगे बढ़ सके, लिटरेट हो सके, डिजिटल लिटरेट हो सके, जो डिवाइसेज है उसे वो ऑपरेट कर सके, चला सके. और उसके लिए सपोर्टिव इन्वायरमेंट क्रिएट किया जाना चाहिए, ताकि वो फियरफुल इन्वायरमेंट ना रहे. उनके मन में यदि किसी भी प्रकार का डाउट है, संदेह है, तो वो ट्रेनर से पूछ सके. और साथ ही साथ उन्हें जो एडल्ट लर्नर्स होते हैं उनके कुछ पर्सनल प्रॉब्लम्स भी होते हैं. उस पर्सनल प्रॉब्लम्स को सॉर्ट आउट करने के लिए, उन्हें एकेडमिक एडवाइस करने के लिए, करियर काउंसलिंग करने के लिए एक पेंटरशिप का कंसेप्ट होना चाहिए, और उसे एक काउंसलर या मेंटोर उसे प्रोवाइड की जानी चाहिए. बाय अंडरस्टैंडिंग एंड एड्रेसिंग दीज कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स एंड चैलेंजेस, educators can create more effective and supportive learning experiences for adult learners.